right now, we're inside of an abandoned hospital. This place is incredible. Walking through it, I feel like I'm Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead. Everything is left behind. There's medical equipment. It's super decayed. Overall, amazing place. And I'm super excited to show everyone right now. If you haven't already, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and like always, let's explore more. These are the medical waste, infectious waste baskets where all bad stuff would go. Stuff where you probably don't ever want to open this up, and good thing I do have a respirator on because I'm protected from whatever's in the air in this place, but definitely crazy to see these. There's just so much that's left here. It's honestly just weird. It's a very strange feeling. We're heading in deeper into the hospital. We notice these shining things in the corner of our eye. And I just happened to look over, anytime I think of a stainless steel something, I think of these hydrotherapy tubs. That's exactly what these are. These are old school hydrotherapy tubs. We don't see these too much in the modern hospitals, especially not this style. This is like the old school vibe that I'm getting from this. But the strange thing is this really small one. And me and the Muse were thinking this must have been for a kid because, what would be the point of this? So it's definitely strange. I think they're putting a kid in one of these hydrotherapy tubs. Definitely really crazy to think about that. I don't know how I feel about that, but just seeing these is crazy. Knowing all the patients who sat in these and used these, and whatever happened here, because we don't know what happened here behind closed doors. Was there patient abuse? Was there neglect? We don't know. Full closets full of medical supplies. Like I was saying before, if I was Rick Grimes, if this was The Walking Dead, this would be a hotspot. This has got so much that you could use. Even over here on this table, you can just see all this stuff left out. It's never going to be used again. There's stuff that's in packages, brand new. This is brand new. It's never been used. Same with stuff like this. It just blows your mind to think they can just say, oh, see ya, and leave everything. Let's head in here, see what this room is. What a really mysterious sections, turns and twists. It's very confusing. But this actually was the cafeteria. Wow. This looks so weird. It's so weird being in here. You never get used to these abandoned buildings. As much as we go to these places all the time, it's always shocking to see stuff like this. This is where the patients would come and get food. Or someone would come get food for them. It looks like a mini little school cafeteria. Wow, this is so unique. I didn't think we were going to see this in here, to be honest. There's just so much left. It just feels so weird to be here. This was honestly probably like another form of a break room for like the RNs, for the aides who worked here, maybe for the doctors. I can just imagine them all sitting at this table, hanging out, talking. Just going about their day, living their lives. They never thought this place would be abandoned and closed. They never thought it would look like this. Just behind the scenes of the lunch line, breakfast line, where the food was. I was just wondering, wonder what kind of food they offered here, if it was good or if it was, like the hospital food everybody says is so bad. But I saw this, Rice Creations. I'm not sure if that's what they were serving up here, but that looks pretty good to me. Here's something I love. If you guys know me, I love 90s stuff. This to me looks like an old 90s register. I just never see these anymore. I just love that style. There's just something about it. I can just press those buttons. You know, I wonder who was working back here. Who was pressing these buttons? You know, this was their job. And now I'm here while it's abandoned. You know, it just feels wrong. But it feels right. Here's a really creepy section that we found. I know there's some little waiting area, waiting chairs here. But that's not what's creepy. Through here is creepy. Now this was a section for patients to stay. This is more beds, more rooms. This looks like it might have been from some observation after a surgery or something like that. But being in this place for the past few hours... I thought I just heard someone talk over here. I was just gonna say, being in here for the past few hours has been really creepy. But look at these beds, look at this. For me, this is just, I have no words to describe this. When I first started exploring, this is what I imagined I would be doing. And now I'm here doing it, so it is incredible. Just checking out these beds, you know, a patient was laying here at one point. It just blows your mind. And this creepy curtain will send fear down your spine. At least it's sending it down mine at the moment. But it's just, I love seeing this stuff. You can even see they have the original monitors up there. This was definitely for monitoring patients after surgery. Down to this pharmacy area where this would be filled with medicine. This is where nurses would come if patients needed stuff. This is like their home base here.
It's just crazy though. It just feels like wasteful. I feel like I was saying this a bunch
here,
in my
full
video.
Box of...
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is like a full box, like, you know, 20, 30 boxes of just like one type of medication, 20, 30 boxes of another type of medication.
So here we have a X-ray machine where patients would come to get X-rays, obviously. But seeing this like just left behind is so cool. Can't imagine this being an operation. It feels like it's always been abandoned for some reason. But as we look down at the table, we have the jacket. This is what patients would wear that would protect them from getting harmful amounts of radiation into their chest and stuff like that. But something more interesting is this stuff here. I think this is like x-rays and scans of someone's head or their face. You can actually kind of see it a little bit. There's one over here too. We might have saw that before. But that's awesome. That's something I've never seen before, like a scan of someone's brain. Here's the main unit that would be moved around. This is placed over the area that needs to be x-rayed. And I know about this because I've actually had x-rays. Broke my collarbone, broke a few bones, so gotta get those x-rays to see what's going on. This thing actually still moves. If you look up here, you'll see it's on tracks. I gotta be careful. I don't want to bring this whole ceiling down, but you can see that I can actually move it back and forth. And this, like I said, this is the part that would be placed over the area that needed to be x-rayed. So it does still move. This little thing here was super interesting. The Muse is a dictionary filled with medical information. She's saying that this was used to x-ray babies. They would be put in this little tube, and their hands would be up above their head. As you know, babies most likely don't want to sit still for an x-ray, so this is how they would have to do that. It's kind of crazy to think that a baby once sat right here. So right there you can see Urbex Muse behind this little wall. That was for the x-ray technician, so they didn't get blasted with waves of radiation. But we'll go back there, and you can see their little...
The little beep boop bops, little buttons.
Yeah, the little device here. This would activate the x-ray machine. This was all the controls. You still has the power button and everything.
I wonder what this button does.
That's the self-destruct button. And now we're going down this hallway. Super grimy, super gross. The floor is all wet and flooded, and this is why I'm wearing a mask, because I do not want to breathe this in. This will give me an intense headache, and it's definitely not safe to breathe in. But we are going to keep heading in and find out what is left in this place. This section definitely does look a lot different. You can see got the waiting area. I guess everybody left. No one's waiting, so we'll get right in to see the doctor. But it's super creepy to see this. And what you're about to see is going to be even creepier, so let's do it. And deeper. Gonna go behind the scenes and check out this little service desk back here, but I wanted to show everybody this. This is like the logbook that people would use when they're signing in, you know? All the names are here, the times, the dates. A lot of this stuff is from like '01. So wild to see this. All these names, and I wonder where all these people are now. Wonder if they know I'm here reading their name. Wonder if they died here, or something like that, something tragic happened to them. I sure hope not, but we are in a hospital, we are in a place where there's emergency rooms and surgical suites, so it's definitely likely. We are behind the scenes, behind this little desk. The only time you'd be back here is if you're having an operation done or you worked here. But I thought this was cool. I love these old keyboards. And I thought this was really interesting. It's like the monitor, but it has all their little notes left up top and everything. If you can look down here. Got some notes, and I like that. Just gives us that feeling that there was actually people here, and this was someone's job. I know it looks weird now. It looks like an apocalypse, but this was someone's life. There's even some pictures. Not sure who made that. Looks like some patients that used to stay here, or who lived here for a little bit. Or some of the workers, actually, too. So here's where the super crazy factor of this place comes in. These abandoned emergency rooms, there's so much left. You have the lights, the bed, and I mean, just look at the floor all around. It's just filled with things left behind, like something you thought you would see in a movie. And honestly, that's how it feels. I feel like this whole time we've been in a movie. But in reality, we're just in this abandoned hospital, and it's just hard to believe they can leave stuff like this. Now, this room was an emergency room. Surgeries weren't going on here, just other medical procedures. There are surgery suites, so wait for that. You're going to be amazed. But this is also really cool. You can see a lot of the medical equipment has just been left behind here, like this device. And also these lights, these big examining lights, you know. Probably would scare the hell out of somebody. This bed, you can see, has these two levers here. This one with the green on it. If I press down on it, we're going to actually see that this bed is going to raise up. And I'm surprised that this thing still works. This place has been closed for almost 20 years. This stuff has just been sitting here in the darkness. Just think about how creepy that is. But I just cranked the bed up. You can actually see it a little bit better. Really wild to see this. It is just Walking Dead vibes all day in this place. But as creepy as it is, as terrifying as it is to be in here, it's not super scary, but it is a little bit unsettling. It's just amazing. It's an incredible experience to witness something like this, so I am truly grateful to be here. This emergency room, and right next to that one, there is another. Let's head on in, take a look. As you can see, this one has a massive light, a massive observation light. This thing looks like it's out of some sort of sci-fi movie. It's crazy. I love the way this thing looks. Just take a look at it. This is crazy looking. It's just so weird. You know, like I was saying before, this place, these rooms, these are just dark for the majority of the time, unless there's other explorer who comes through to enjoy. It's just complete darkness. There was so much life here, so it's just weird to think that now it just sits in silence. You know, I do think there's some residual spiritual energy in this place from patients who've died in here, but you never know. So here is the bed, you know, just like the other room. But there is some interesting stuff here. Olympic papoose board? Is this for like a child to lay on this, I guess? Maybe like it was almost like a stretcher for a child? Or something like along the lines of that. I think that's probably correct. But there's also these tubes here. A lot of very mysterious stuff. Vacutainer, it says on there. Those are just sprawled out and left behind. There's also one single crutch. Anybody needs a crutch? Let me know. I thought this was really cool up here. You can see this is like a little mini x-ray station. So someone who's getting examined or whatnot, they would have their x-rays up here. So this is probably exactly what a doctor or an RN saw when they walked in this place. And, you know, I'm getting that same feeling. So it is really cool to see that set up. But besides that, I mean, just being in these rooms is just, like I was saying, it's just so incredible to witness this. And it's just something that you don't get to see every day. You know, we've been exploring for years. And I've never come across anything that was like this. This earlier and I wasn't sure what it was, but now that I'm seeing it, this was to weigh a baby. You would just put them in this little carrier here, and it would allow for an accurate measurement of their size. So that's a really cool. I've never seen anything like this. That's awesome to see that. I just left the emergency rooms, and I noticed all this orange stuff down the hallway, and I was like, okay, what could this be? This is just a bunch of syringes. As you can see, I'll zoom in on this one. There's so many. There's about 200 here. And they're all just sprawled out and thrown all over the place. There's even some on the ground. And these are probably used all the time in this place to give patients medicine and vaccines and things like that. And, you know, unfortunately, these are kind of just being wasted now. Down the hall, we have some extra beds here. You can see this one over here and right here. So these were for patients who were waiting to go into the emergency room or waiting for surgery. This is kind of where they would hang out and be observed and see how everything is going. And you can see this one even has like a little computer next to it. I'm sure it was to monitor a patient's health. But it's just so quiet in this place and has a very eerie vibe to it. And I'm sure, you know, just even watching the video you can get that sense. But just being here, I'm telling you, this is definitely one of the creepier places we've been. And I think just having all this medical stuff left behind just really adds to that effect. This is what I said before, we're going to find some surgical suites, and we have. So brace yourself, because this is going to get crazy. I know you're probably looking at this saying, that's not the same building. This is not abandoned. It is. I know it's hard to believe. I can't even believe it myself when I'm in here looking. But this is OR1. This was the main operating room in this place. This room is pretty much untouched. Think about the patients that were in here. If you ever had surgery, I'm sure that it's scary. It's uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. This is where those patients were. That energy stays here in these places. People could have died in this room. People could have been saved in this room. Just crazy when you think about it like that. Let's just get a little closer and see. I mean, we have the bed left. It still has like the surgical drapes that they would put down. I guess if there was blood or just to protect it and have, you know, less germs. And we have this big light, the examination light. I wonder what this light saw after all these years of operation. What did this thing see? How much death did it see? How much life-saving surgeries did it see? You know, now, unfortunately, this place will be closed forever, and it's a kind of a shame. You know, this place probably did help a lot of people. We have some tools left over now. I don't know if these were used in surgery, but it does look like something you would use, something that would be to get something really small or more precision instruments. Got this big piece of machinery. This is like something you see on TV, like something you'd see on like Grey's Anatomy. And it's something I never thought I would really be seeing. I know when you get surgery you see it, but you don't really comprehend what it is. You don't know what this thing is. You don't know what it does. And even right now, it's throwing me for a loop. I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at here. But it's just like knowing what happened in this room, and all these machines were used to assist for surgery. They needed this stuff. They relied on this stuff. And it just sits here now. Right in front of you is another surgical suite. This is a very similar room to the other one we just saw, but this one is very decayed. I mean, just look up here. I'll show you guys. The ceiling is dripping water. This place is about to collapse down, at least in this room. But another surgery room, another place where a patient could have died right in this table in front of us, right where we're looking at. Now, there's so much life in these hospitals with babies being born and, people dying from illnesses and disease or surgery, and people recovering from surgery. It's just like life and death in one place. And just to be here and stand in this room when it's completely silent, it's abandoned, it's just a very strange feeling. And it's a feeling that you just won't get anywhere else. It's a very different style chair than the other one. The other one was more like a patient, like a hospital bed almost. This one has like little spots for their arms and stuff. I don't know if different types of surgeries were going on in here, or this was just, they had this extra chair, and this is what they wanted to use in here. But we actually have a patient gown that's here. I'm sure that's fake blood or some sort of liquid that was found in this room. But it is a little bit creepy. And just like the other one, there's a lot of this stuff, so I think a lot of this stuff is for anesthesia and to help patients breathe, oxygen, stuff like that, while they're doing the surgeries. But it is hard to say. These huge cabinets, these were filled with anything they would need for the surgery. So they didn't have to leave this room. They could just have everything right here. They're still filled with stuff. It's so crazy just to know. People were going in these actively and getting things out and refilling them, and they're still filled with stuff. There is a laboratory where there is blood samples, so let's head in there and check out some of the stuff in here. A lot of interesting medical equipment left in this place. It's almost like some sort of centrifuge. You could see where the samples would go in, and that might spin, and all the data would be put onto this computer. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but I think, just from general knowledge, I think that's what would be going on here. But it's in perfect condition. It's not destroyed, it's not vandalized. It's waiting to be used. This little laboratory probably has the most stuff in this place because everything was left behind. They did not bother taking anything out. There's a lot of stuff like this, and this is all behind the scenes. This is not stuff you're just going to see. The normal person's not going to see this kind of stuff. Let's open this up and see what's in here. There's some biohazard signs in there. Not sure what this was. It looks like some sort of incubator, but I'm not sure what they'd be putting in here. Definitely interesting to see, though. You can see there's just cabinets. I'm sure there would be doctors or nurses in here. You can see the chairs. They would hang out and do research. But there's just so much in here. It's just like, it's almost overwhelming. It's hard to just wrap your mind around a place leaving all this behind. And here's what I was talking about before, like a centrifuge, where samples would go in. They would close the top of this, like this. You could see. They would close it, and then it would spin, like super fast. And that's how they get certain data for certain tests and certain things they have in those tubes. It's just really interesting for me to think about the people that were in here working and doing the research. Like, if they saw this now, I wonder what they would think if they saw this. They would probably be, I don't even know what would go through their minds. Of course, we have the do not open, and we have the biohazard. I'm just going to open it because, you know what? Whoa. What's that down there? I think I just saw something. What does that say? That is returned blood bags, wasted blood. Oh my god. There's blood in that. There was a patient's blood in this. This is crazy. Oh my god. There's the biohazard fridge. Look all this stuff just left behind in here. All these samples and stuff. Sometimes I don't even really know what this stuff is. It's hard to say. There is something in there though. You can actually see it moving around. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to go too crazy touching all this stuff. I probably shouldn't even touch it at all, but I'm just very curious what's left in these places. And it's super intriguing. Here's another biohazard fridge. Let's see what is in this one here. Now there's actually samples in this one, and I think I am not sure what these are. And something just moved in there. That's super weird. Let me look. I feel like this is blood. This is like people's blood in these tubes. It really is. It actually is. Oh my god. Look in there. Look at that stuff, guys. This is crazy. This is blood that's been sitting here for about 20 years now. In these little test tubes. And it's supposed to be refrigerated, but it's not, so it has solidified a little bit. Left the lab, entered this room. This is all patient records, patient files that were forgotten and left behind. Urban Extremes was just mentioning something that was crazy to me. It's like, imagine you needed your patient records, you needed your medical records, right? No one has them. They were left here forgotten in this hospital. You'll never get them back. This place is going to be demolished, and all these files, all this stuff is going to be gone. It's just crazy. I can't believe they just left all this like that. There's so much too. This is just filled with people's lives. Doing the last cool things in this place before we head out. Here are some patient x-rays. I'm assuming this was another x-ray room or an x-ray examination room. But you can see this is like someone's skull here. This was someone's lungs. This looks like maybe some vertebrae scans. There's another skull right here of patients. I don't want to get too close. It does have names on it, but you can see the date on this one is 1999, 1994 on that. It's crazy. And then someone would sit back here and they would check up on these x-rays. That was someone's whole job. Amazing to see this stuff left behind. This is what we live for as explorers. This is what we live for. This is what we dream about. Whew. Okay, let me just take this off really quick. Wow, that feels amazing. I was wearing this for about 5 or 6 hours while we were in here exploring.
You have a mask outline.
I can feel it. It just feels like I have a mask on still. But it's important when we're in these places. I know I have it off now, but a lot of this stuff is toxic. It's a lot of mold. A lot of stuff you don't want to be breathing in, and we forget about that. We've been in here for a long time. I don't want to be exposed to stuff like that. Either way, we just got finished exploring this place. It was incredible. It was like a dream. For us as urban explorers, this is what we dream about. Coming to a hospital with so much stuff left behind. It's just like a movie. You don't expect it to actually happen, and when you're here, it just doesn't feel real. It's just amazing to see this and witness it, so I'm super grateful we had the chance to come out here and just explore, have a great time, and take every one of you guys with us to see it. So, if you did like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and like always, get out and explore more. Peace.